Very good morning to what have I just read with Michael, with Malcolm,
and with our jingle.
the jingle.
Great. So yes, we've read.
So we missed a big chunk yesterday because it was St Bartholomew Day, so we had a different reading for St Bartholomew's Day.
Okay, so I haven't actually missed anything, kind of.
You haven't missed anything, no. I suspect the reading yesterday was, the Philistine. Saul's had his second attempt to take David's life, and David has saved him a second time.
Yeah.
Now the Philistines have come, foreboding has sort of seized Saul.
Right.
He's gone and broken sort of almost one of the sort of cardinal sins, in that he's gone and consulted with a medium.
Okay.
And has called up the spirit of Samuel. That may well have been yesterday's reading.
Right.
Now he goes into battle with the Philistines.
And that comes to a very sticky ending, isn't it? Particularly unpleasant. It's quite interesting because Jonathan, Abinadab, and Malchishua kind of have, as far as you can call it this, but a sort of an honourable death in the face of battle, whereas Saul has a really particularly unpleasant demise, doesn't he?
Well, yes, except again that whole point about you don't kill the Lord's anointed. Even the armour bearer is not. Even though Saul is injured, even the armour bearer is not going to kill.
Right.
He's not going to kill him. So Saul has to take his own life.
Because he's basically had a mortal wound.
Yeah.
He's on his way out. He just by killing himself, he essentially just makes the process quicker. And it's quite interesting because this kind of clears the way for David's taking the throne, doesn't it? Because basically all the people, the contenders, have gone. Because Jonathan would have taken it, but he would have probably given it to David because he did promise that he would, didn't he? But then
no, Jonathan knew that David would be king, but
right.
In other words, knew he would die.
But there was, but then there might have been a conflict between the other brothers who might have said, they might have said, look, we actually should be king. So
obviously,
it could have been what do you call it, a succession battle. In fact, isn't there one? Doesn't he have a
Well, we'll have to wait.
What's his name? There's a guy called Bish Bash Bosh. What's his name? Abi Bish Bash or something. There's another brother with a great name. Is it something like Bish Bash Bosh?
Mephibosheth? I don't know. No, I don't think we need to. Yeah, well, we'll just have to wait and see. Wait and see.
Right.
I mean, what I love here the people of Jabesh Gilead, who have come, and that's really they come and they give Saul a decent burial.
Are they Philistine?
No, they're Israelites.
Are Israelites? Okay.
So they creep in. It's a special
operation.
Special operation.
Right.
Swap the coming in, pick up the body
in the middle of the night. Right.
And
because it is kind of horrific, actually, the fact that that's like a fate worse than death, to be sort of displayed outside the walls.
Exactly.
Ignominious.
Yeah. And then we fascinating reading.
Yeah, this is incredible. This had me kind of puzzled. And again, it's that beginning of Acts, and there's so much going on. I hadn't sort of realised quite how fascinating these are kind of the early Christians.
I mean, it is a really almost people talk about it as being a primitive communism, a primitive, but a communism that's based not on what others tell you to do, but on what your heart is telling you to do,
and sort of being with sort of the Lord. And this, because this to us kind of looks, as we all know about communism, so this kind of, we understand this, but this must have been extraordinary back then. Because you come from people who live in tribes, families, blood, lines, and that's huge, and this is completely different. It must have really been a sort of a shocking, extraordinary new thing.
Yeah, that community was caring for itself.
Right.
And that crossed tribal lines and racial family lines.
Because a lot of what Jesus preached is about the fact that we kind of sort of move out of this kind of loyalty within bloodlines and within families. That really tends to come across.
Well, the families are still important, really important, but that there's something that's bigger.
There's a bigger family, right?
There's a bigger family,
family of God, right? And within that we have some brothers and sisters. Right.
And then this Ananias and Sapphira story, which must have terrified the community. The thing with Ananias and Sapphira is it's not that they didn't give all their land. It's not that they held back some of their land or some of the money from their land. The problem is that they lied about it. They came to Peter and said, this is all the money that we got.
Right.
In other words, they were trying to say, well, Barnabas did it in the previous verses. We're also like Barnabas. We're doing it.
Is there a kind of helping themselves to the pot? I mean, this kind of really is what communism is, isn't it? Because there was always somebody in communism who had their hands in the till.
Well, except even then it isn't. What it is Peter says to Sapphira, Peter says to Ananias, while it remained unsold, did it not remain your own? And after it was sold, were not the proceeds at your disposal?
Right.
In other words, it was still theirs. It was their property. They could do with it what they wanted. The problem was that they were giving it to Peter and saying, we're giving you everything.
Right.
When they weren't.
When they were actually like taking it and helping
They
themselves.
were holding back some. If they'd come to Peter and said, we're going to give you half the estate,
We'll keep the other half.
that would have been, but we're keeping the other half, that would have been fine.
Right.
The problem is lying here. It's
Right.
it's not the holding on to the property.
And also taking what essentially was everyone else's. I mean, in a sense, because they were saying that we've given everything to everybody, but actually they haven't, because they've kept some.
Yeah.
So in a way, what they've essentially done is the stuff they've said they've given to everyone else, they've kind of kept for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, there's a little bit of a communism thing here, because there's so much that going on when people were pretending to be part of sharing everything, but actually had their hands. That was my point. Kind of had their hands in the till. The first paragraph is when it goes right. The second paragraph is when it goes wrong. When people are sort of like lying and keeping bits of themselves whilst pretending to be part of this.
Yeah.
When they're not really. I suppose they haven't really entered the true spirit of sharing in the correct way.
And you might suddenly think, well, and again, it's this issue of lying. They lie to the church leaders.
Right.
They lie to the church community. That's the thing. It's the hypocrisy.
Yeah, right. The hypocrisy is a good word.
The hypocrisy that says, we're giving everything, and they haven't given everything.
Yeah.
And that's the thing when Ananias hears it, and suddenly think, they all know he's mortified, has a heart attack. When Sapphira hears it, she has a heart attack, or something like that. And no wonder fear hits the community.
It is a remarkable story. Great.
Lovely. Have a great day.
Have a great Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday.
it is Thursday. Yeah, I know.
Maybe 2 days of filming, just the world flies by.
Yeah,
Great. Okay. Bye.